Hey, everybody. How's it going? Happy Sunday. Welcome to RBN, the JB show. Good to see you all on this beautiful Sunday. Today is February 26th, 2023. I am your host, James Fauntleroy. It's so good to see you. The JB show is every single Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Revolutionary Blackout Network. As well, you guys can catch me on RBN Live on Tuesdays at 4 and the Savvy and JB show on Thursdays at 6. On Tuesdays, you can also catch me at 2 p.m. on my own channel, the JB Font channel. If you guys would like to go and subscribe or see what I have going on my channel, you guys can also go to there in the description as well below. Thank you to all the people who are patrons on Patreon, as well as new members. I just like to give a shout out to some of the new members that we have. We have Mark P. Thagao as a new member. Thank you so very much. Yes, we have memberships now on RBN. So they're at $3.99 per month. So thank you so much to Mark for your becoming a new member. As well as thank you to IA24601 for becoming a new member. Thank you so very much. And thank you to CEB Applejack for the super chat saying, "Salute, family. Our polar bear jump turned out great." Yes, by the way, I saw the picture and I admire the bathing suits. But good to see you also in the chat, CEB Applejack. Also, just let you guys know, thank you so much to all the people who are doing the damn thing. And hang on, let me make sure I have this because I have it for one, but I don't have it for the other. I missed something. Here we go. Just get that up there just so that I can have it here. Because this is also important. We got to get some of the house cleaning out of the way before we can get started with the stories. Why? Because JB got to be responsible. I know. I got to make my peeps proud at RBN, and that's what I try to do. That's what I like to do. And if I'm not doing the things responsibly, well, then I fail, and I don't want to fail my brothers and sisters. So, but while that's uploading, just want to also get to people in the chat. Hang on. Did I go on? No. So, starting off, Mr. Fly says, "Welcome, bienvenuti, hola, all languages to the JB show, comrades. I am patiently waiting for JB to do the damn thing. By the way, RBN is on fire right now." Thank you so very much. Mr. Fly says, "Everybody join up. We're at a pivotal time, and JB has a very unique insight into my struggle and in the struggle because I'm on SSDI and have been since 2005 and have lived under the poverty level ever since." Yeah, I hear you. I'm exactly the same. Basically, it's the same thing for me. But also, just let you guys know, while we're at it, just let you guys know, we also raise funds for our graphics designer, Aaron. So if you guys can, please make sure to, if you guys can, donate to that. You guys can Venmo at Revolutionary Blackout or Cash App $Mutual Aid Forever so that we can also pay for our graphics. And yes, the kittens are part of the graphics. Because who doesn't like a graphic without kittens? The whole kitten caboodle. Kitten caboodle. Anywho, just wanted to get back to that. And also, let's get to the comments as well, just to say our hellos. And we have Sean Miller coming in saying, "Yer." So good to see you. Old Man Barker, who's also a RBN, a revolutionary member, saying, Eric Gray, saying, sup, y'all. And the case for defunding the police is getting stronger and stronger by the day. Absolutely. We're going to be talking about it. Carrie Scott is also in the chat because hey, Carrie Scott says we need free healthcare like the fire department. Medicare sucks. Well, here's the thing. Medicare is actually better than private insurance. How do I know? I have Medicare. However, it does need a lot of work. I want a nationalized healthcare system. Now, single payer is better than private. Single payer is also better than Medicare. But a full nationalization, look, I'm going to shoot for the stars. I want a full nationalization. But also, single payer is on the way. So it's a step in the right direction. But yes, definitely, Carrie Scott, we definitely need free healthcare, just like we have the fire department, just like we have a defense department. We need free healthcare. Thank you so very much. Mastermind Hour is giving Applejack some thumbs up. Give some love to Applejack. I think you guys raised like what, $20 million? I'm sorry, it's not 20 million, 20,000. Sorry. I know you wish 20 million, but yeah, I think you guys raised like $20,000 to help people in your area, which is amazing. Keep up the great work. John Kemper, aka Blue Marvel, up in the chat saying peace, love, solidarity, fam. Good to see you, John. All right. CEB says, you guys hear about Poland? Its citizens are speaking out about assisting Ukraine, and the government are telling them they are not allowed to have that opinion. You see? All right. Yeah. These imperialist nations, they're so silly. The Jam Mom says, hey, y'all, good to see ya. Good to see you. Welcome. Come on in. Put your feet up. Joseph says, what's good, everyone? I don't know. That tea still hitting me for some reason. I don't know what the hell I put in that tea. I don't know. Serena say hello, comrades. Good to see you, Serena. Somebody had the nerve to say on Political Matrix that I'm not entertaining. Who said? But I am. I try to be. All right. Who else we didn't get to say hello to? We have Ryan Wagner says, sound like they take after the overlords in the USA. They're overlords. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Look, the empire don't like when people dissent. To them, that's a big no-no. They do not like dissension. All right, so everybody, make sure also to like the stream. Look, let's be real. I don't get as many viewers as CJ, Rome, Nick, or Savvy. I don't. It's true. That's fine. And I'm okay with that, because I talk about certain things that I talk about, and they talk about things that they talk about. But the thing is that, please make sure to like so that RBN as a whole gets pushed out into the algorithm. We were talking about this earlier on the Political Matrix. Sabi and I were there. We were talking about Black history. And we were talking, I think it's going to be a yearly thing where we talk, at the end of Black History Month every year on that channel. So also make sure to give them a sub. They're doing some good work over there. But, we were talking about the algorithm and how it tends to favor either not talking about these serious issues, or it also does not favor talking about Black issues too. Let's be real. Gotta be real about it. And so with this channel, I honestly think that RBN should be bigger than what it is. But because we talk about a lot of these issues, including Black issues, does not get pushed out. So in order to assist us in that, then please make sure to give us a like, including on this stream, as well as if you have not subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe. A lot of people, they they're kind of playing with it. They're like watching us on a regular basis, but not subscribed. It's like, why haven't you pulled the trigger yet? What is stopping you from pulling that trigger? You're already basically subscribed. You just haven't clicked the red box yet. Go ahead. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead. I'll give you 4 head kisses if you do. All right. I know. Let me stop. All right, so what are we talking about today? Hang on. Oh, wait. Let me check on Rockfin. Okay, there's a few people watching, but no comments yet. Okay, so what are we talking about? So you guys are going to find out about who Richard Ward is, but it's what happened. Murder, right? And the title of this stream is Brutality at a Middle School. What happened? We're going to be talking about that. That's actually going to be an interesting story. And then some good water news. So some good news about water. I want to bring out some good news because we can't do, negative news all the time. I try to be happy-go-lucky and talk about some things. But this is going to be, we're going to dip down a little bit. We're going to dip a little low as far as the mood. But then we're going to raise it back up with a good news story towards the end. Actually, I have a little bit of an additional news story that's not related to the water, but it's also a good news story that I just caught at right before I went live. So I'm going to share that a little bit too, because I want us to have some good things to talk about, right? As people who want an egalitarian, more equitable and equal society, I think it's important to talk about the grotesques in our society due to the system, but it's also good to talk about the things that we want to see happen, the possibilities of the future, so that we can have that more positive outlook and to see, oh man, I can't wait till we get this, and I can't wait till we get that, and imagine how we'll be once we have such and such. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly how it has to be. And that's exactly how I want it to be. I want us to be more aspirational, right? It's great to, talk about these things so that we can work on changing them and try to join organizations and try to do activism movement to change these things. But to be aspirational and what we want to see out there in the future, I think that's also very important too. So let's start to put on our hats when it comes to being more hopeful, right? Let's do that too, because I want to bring in some of the positive side. So we're going to talk about something that's going to be very deep. It's going to be very somber, right? But then I'm also going to talk about, some actions that we may be able to take, and then also some resources that we can look at into helping to push for something better, right? So that's what it's all about. Now, so now we're going to get to the deep stuff. Wait, before I do that, I had a couple super chats come in that I want to make sure that I don't miss before I get into it, because I'm going to really get into it. Esoteric Teaching says Scranton Jim Crow Joe is more concerned about his Ukrainian money laundering operation than with the health of Americans in Ohio. That's important. Thank you so much. What you're saying is true. In fact, I think it just came out that he won't go to East Palestine in order to see the people and help them. He's really reflecting how he really feels and how his administration feels. That's basically what it is. That's why channels like this are very important. Because even though we are an all-black network, we're not just talking to Black people. We're talking to everybody. We're talking to all of you. Because it's important that you know, number one, what we as Black people are going through, but how it also is reflective upon what everybody else is going through in this nation. Because if it's happening to us, that means it's going to happen to you. And if it hasn't started happening to you yet, it will happen to you in the near future. So that's why it's important. All right. This is why a Black voice of workers is very important. Now, to our story. This is going to be tough. So I am going to be sharing some rough images. This is going to be important because it's actually going to give us context into what actually happened. I'm going to say this right now. Viewer discretion advised for this. Viewer discretion advised for this stream. Because we're going to be showing some body cam footage. And so I hope that if you are not squeamish, then you'll be able to continue. But if you are squeamish to these things, or these things are triggering for you, then you may want to skip this stream. I'm just putting that out there for your mental and emotional health. Okay. And you guys can always join me later when I talk about the good news. But that your mental and emotional health is also deeply important, and I don't want you to jeopardize that. So if you feel that you need to step away from the stream, that's quite all right. Give a like, then go and then join back later. Okay. All right. Remember, JB loves you. All right. So I'm going to share my screen really quick because this needs to happen. So I'm going to share a thread on Twitter. Shout out to Imposter Edits on Twitter. Imposter Edits. Content warning, police shooting says, this happened last February, but the police hid the body cam until today. Once you see it, you will understand why. Richard Ward is sitting in the car with his mother and her boyfriend, waiting on his younger brother to get out of school. So we're going to show this first, and then we'll get into it.
It still doesn't feel real.
A year has done little to lessen this family's pain.
And it's just shattered this whole family.
Pain caused in a matter of moments last February while Christy Ward Stamp was sitting in an SUV with her 32-year-old son, waiting for Richard Ward's brother to get out of school in Pueblo West. Richard got restless and got out to take a walk.
He accidentally opened the door to a different but very similar looking white SUV. Richard apologized. He was startled and immediately got out.
Deputies responded.
Why are you touching my arm, bro? Let go.
Why are you acting like this?
I'm a little nervous because I don't like cops.
Why?
I have anxiety. They've done things to me.
What have they done to you?
Stop resisting when you're not resisting.
When Richard put that anti-anxiety pill in his mouth, Deputy McWhorter went crazy.
Would you just stick in your mouth? Let me go. Get out.
20 seconds later, Richard was dead.
It's been really, really, really horrible. I don't even know who I am anymore, but I'm working on it. That's about it.
His mother and brother were in Denver on Tuesday as their attorneys filed suit against the Pueblo County Sheriff.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about how I'll never get to have another phone conversation with my brother.
They're upset.
It's infuriating.
Upset at what this video shows. Video that doesn't match what the sheriff reports on the scene that day.
Until ARC arrived, at that point, the person jumped out of the vehicle and had immediate contact with our deputies.
And to hear my younger brother, say that other people's parents are reading that story and that other kids in his class are referring to my brother as this intruder and an attacker, and to have him not know how to even deal with that. I want justice and accountability for the people involved.
In Denver, Steve Steger, 9 News.
The DA in Pueblo County cleared both deputies on the scene of the shooting, saying they had reasonable grounds to believe they were in danger, claiming Ward was reaching for McWhorter's gun. The Pueblo County Sheriff's Office could not comment on that lawsuit today because they told us they had not seen it.
Why am I covering this? For at least the last year, right? Every single time I touch on police brutality, every single time the victim was Black. Why am I covering this one? Jaybe, you always cover police brutality quite often, but this is a white guy experiencing police brutality. Why are you covering it? Well, what did I say earlier? If they're doing it to us, they're going to eventually do it to you. You see, when Black people talk about trying to change things in order for us to have a better system, that bleeds over into how you're going to be treated too. When we talk about the issues that face us, we're basically talking about stop it from happening to us, and then it won't happen to you. When we're talking about housing when it comes to us, guess what? If they're doing it to us, it's going to happen to you. That is a fact. So this is why it is important to talk about this, because when people like me say defund the police on the road to abolition, I'm not just talking about in Black neighborhoods. I'm not just talking about it in brown neighborhoods. I'm talking about it in white neighborhoods too. Because guess what? They're coming after all of us. They're just coming after Black people first. That's the point. This is the point when I cover these police brutalities and the victims are always Black. This is now showing, look, it's not just us. It's not. Now, disproportionately it's us. But this is to show you, wake up. Wake up. It's happening to y'all. It's happening to y'all too. This is why it's important to talk about this. Because if you guys aren't paying attention when it happens to us, like what Big Goldberg said, is it going to happen to you guys in order for you to pay attention? I'm bringing this to your attention because I want you guys to know that, guess what? If that brother of the victim had been a Black dude saying the exact same things, a lot of people would have just checked out and be like, oh, just another Black person getting shot. Now you have a redheaded white dude that it happened to. Now what? Are you taking what we say seriously now? That's the point. It's not just Black people. It's now happening to white people, working class whites, working class white people. This is important. Why? Because the police are a armed thug gang that will not stop until they subject all of workers under the thumb of capitalists, so that they can keep us in line. That's what it's about. That's what this is all about. And they will lie to you and tell you, oh, well, it's the Black people's fault. That's, 13% of the population, but they commit 50% of the crimes. right? And then keep that division there. Or it's the people in drag. They're a threat to the kids. They're the ones that are a threat. You guys need to go after them. Or it's the trans people. They're the threat. Or it's the illegals coming into the country. They're the threat to you. And they're using white supremacy. They're using homophobia and transphobia. They're using xenophobia in order to divide us. That's what they're doing. And so when we talk about our liberation, that's important because that means breaking down and dismantling the systems that divide us. Because our liberation means less division, which means that we can come together and actually combat the system. That's what our liberation means. So when we talk about, and now when I say liberation, I'm not just talking about people treating black people better on an individual basis. No. What I'm talking about is dismantling the white supremacist structure that causes us to be disproportionately affected into, as far as incarceration. I'm talking about us actually having equal and equitable housing. I'm even talking about reparations, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all these things because guess what? Once we start to have a true, equal, and equitable society, the people at the top do not have a leg to stand on. There is no division among us. And that's the point. So that's one of the reasons why I'm talking about this story. Because I want people to wake up that it's not just us that are experiencing police brutality. It is white people too. Now, let's go to the story. Let's continue. Here's the story on a local news station. So they filed a lawsuit, right? And so Richard Ward, he was 32 years old, and he sustained, they shot him in the chest 3 times, 3 shots to the chest, and he was murdered by a police officer. So what happened? Ward was sitting in the car of his mother and her boyfriend, waiting for his younger brother to get out of Liberty Point International School in Pueblo West. According to the family attorney, Ward got out of the car to stretch his legs and smoke a cigarette. When he returned, he said he accidentally got into another SUV that looked like his mother's. How many times have any of you were inside of a car, right? And then you kind of lost your sense of direction, went to what you thought was the car that you were in, because it looked exactly like the same car. And then you pulled on the handle and it was locked, and you looked inside and nobody was inside, and you were like, hold up, wait a minute. And then you look over and, oh, there's the car that you were in, but this one wasn't, And so then you go, oh, snap. And then you walk over to the other car because you didn't think that was, you thought it was the right car, right? I've done it, right? But this car had somebody in it and the door was unlocked and he just jumped in like it was his mother's car. And so once he realized that it wasn't his mother's car, he was like, oh, snap. I'm sorry. It was an innocent mistake, right? But then somebody decided to call the cops, 911, what's your emergency? And say, oh, somebody is pulling on doors to open it up and trying to get into people's cars. When that wasn't what was actually happening. And so then police came. And Richard lost his life. Because somebody made an assumption. Now, that's what happened. But there's also body cam footage. And to get the full context, body cam footage is important in cases like this. So here's the body cam footage. I'm not going to play it all, but I'll play a good chunk of it. This is the part where I say viewer discretion is advised. Trigger warning to anybody who may be triggered by things like this. But this is important to see and to get full context of exactly what happened. And they didn't release this body cam footage until a year later. 1 year. This shooting took place last February. We're in February 2023. This is February of 2022 in Colorado. Let's go.
10-4, I'm in contact with it. Looks like it's going to be a Ford. I guess he's going to be in the back seat of the white Lexus. It's going to be called. What's going on?
Wow, calling clutch for me just looking for my little brother, huh?
Absolutely.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, just looking for my little brother.
Okay, who's the little brother?
Eddie's, Chase Ward.
Okay. Forgot who the little brother was?
No,
all right.
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you, man.
Okay.
Why you touch my arm, bro? Let go.
Why are you acting like this?
I'm a little nervous because I don't like cops.
Why?
I have anxiety. They've done things to me.
What have they done to you?
Stop resisting. When you're not resisting.
Was that PD or us?
Who knows?
Because we're different, right? We're the SO.
I don't know. You treat us all. I mean, I'm not just trying to distract you, nothing, but it's just like I'm just a normal guy just trying to get my brother. You know.
You said we treat you what?
I
don't know. I don't even know who you are. Okay.
Cool.
Right.
I'm just here to pick up my little brother, man. I'd like to just.
So.
Who did I disrupt by trying to get my brother?
Well, they said that you were going around trying to mess with doors and open up cars.
No, dude, the fucking car looked. I thought. Oh my God.
So what'd you do? I just want to hear your side of the story, man.
Oh, dude, I straight up thought that was my car. That's all it was.
Thought it was your car over here, and you were looking for your brother, but.
I straight up thought that was my car.
Okay.
I seen the
and what car was it?
I thought it was my mom. I was yelling at her. I thought because I knew she was in there. I don't even know that lady.
Yeah, I know. That's what she was freaking out about, right?
Hey, but she was like, but when she started driving, I was like, and then I was like, lady, I'm sorry. I was like, I did not mean,
Yeah.
That's what happened. So,
are you under the influence of anything?
No.
Okay. You have an ID with you?
I'm
Do you have any weapons? Do you have any weapons?
I don't think so. I had a pocket.
You don't think so? Don't pull them out. What'd you just stick in your mouth? What'd you just stick in your mouth?
Dude, a fucking pill. There's a pill. Let me go. Get up. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands on your back, bro. Stop. Stop resisting, bro. Stop. Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. All right. It's all right. It's okay. Hey, stop. It's okay. Stop moving. Did you shoot him? Did you guys shoot him? He's my son, John! Did you shoot him with rubber bullets? He doesn't have a weapon! Did you shoot him, dude? Did you shoot him? No! You shot him?
Stay in the car.
Stop, man. Baby, stop. Sir, hey, I want your name to pass over man right now, dude. Hey, I'm not doing nothing. Sir, okay, can I talk to you, man? Hold on real quick. Just let us figure out what's going on, okay? Hey, that's crazy.
We're all right.
Stop.
Thank you.
No. Oh my God. I'll give all my information. No. Oh, you do that. Hey, yours. Stop. We have to call the cops. Call the cops and report that officer right now. Get a sergeant down here and report him. Get a sergeant down here. Call 911 right now and get a sergeant. Sir, can you call a sergeant down here? They're coming. Okay, trust me, just hang tight. Yes, sir. We got more officers coming. Did you guys call 911? Yes, that was the first thing we did. We haven't done nothing. Hey, we haven't done anything wrong. Can you guys do CPR? We're gonna shut the door. Put your gloves. I got it. Okay. Stuck there. Right.
Hang on.
He's stuck there.
That's the murderer. That's the murderer. He murdered. That's the murderer. Let's call it. Let's call it like we see it. That's a murderer. I'm going to give you some information that's going to piss you off even more. Did you know that the police department, the sheriff's office, gave him a Purple Heart for what he did just there? They gave a murderer a Purple Heart for his murder. They gave him a Purple Heart. Yep. Because he sustained some injuries. This guy. So when we say ACAB, all cops are bad, when we say that, we mean it, because these institutions will reward this behavior. They will reward it. You killed a dude that, kind of got out of line. All right, good on you, man. Here's a Purple Heart. Let's look at the information. Let's look it up. Because that adds insult to injury, right? Here it is in The Guardian. Colorado sheriff honors deputy after he killed a man who mistakenly got in wrong car. So the Colorado Sheriff's Office has given one of his deputies a medal after he fatally shot a man who mistakenly tried to get into the wrong car while picking his brother up from a local middle school. Charles McWhorter earned the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office Purple Heart Award for purportedly enduring injuries to his nose, forefinger, back, knee, and neck as he shot Richard Ward 3 times at close range and killed him on the 22nd of February of 2022. McWhorter received the Purple Heart Medal during the Sheriff's Office award ceremony on the 17th of February, 4 days before the Ward's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit in federal court against him and his agency. They rewarded him for murder. Look, I'll blow it up even more. They rewarded him for murder. This is the system that we were talking about. This is it. And so when we talk about defunding the police, this is what we mean. Yes, we are targeted disproportionately, but guess what? They're coming after y'all too. What are you going to do about it? Oh, we should train more cops up with the police to be, we should train them to be more able to de-escalate. De-escalate that. You mean to tell me that he's scared of a pill? A pill would have done one of two things. One of two. Either it was one, going to help the person in that situation that they were going to either be more calm or chill or something. It wasn't going to enhance their strength or make them more dangerous in any way. So that wasn't going to happen. Or it was going to be dangerous for them and they have a medical situation on their hands. But killing the person is not going to solve the issue. It's not. Because if it was dangerous for the person who took it, why would you need to pull out a weapon? Because if it's dangerous for them, probably the best thing to do was to make them spit it out. That's probably the best thing to do. But instead, what did you do? You shot him. You shot him. Unarmed. Already talked about how he has anxiety around police. What did he do? He put an anti-anxiety medication in his mouth. That's what it was. So already the victim was in an act of de-escalating because he knew his mind and how he feels when he gets anxious. So in order to help himself so that he can keep escalation down, he took an anti-anxiety medication for himself so that things won't get bad. And in doing so, it got bad because the snowflake-ass police pig decided, oh, this is dangerous to put a pill in your mouth. People who have mental health issues or mental illness in the country are always the victims of police violence. People will talk about, when the shootings happen, oh, we got to focus on mental health. Most of the time, people who actually have mental health issues are more afraid of hurting people than people who don't have mental health episodes. They're actually the most afraid of hurting people. And so they'll take extra steps to be less hurtful. So somebody with anxiety is afraid of hurting people. They're afraid. So guess what? He was not a danger. The person who is the most danger is the person who actually has the weapon. What he says, did they think the pill was some sort of super pill that would endanger them? I have loved ones in my family that have anxiety. If they're trying to take a medication that they know that will keep them calm so that things don't escalate, and then for doing so, they lose their lives. I'm just waiting for the people that come in and go, well, he should have just complied. Well, maybe if he didn't do the wrong thing, then he would just still be alive today. I'm waiting for people to come in and the Blue Lives Matter or the thin blue line supporters to come in and say something about him. I'm waiting for the people who the Blue Lives Matter crew to come in and try to go through Richard Ward's criminal history and justify him being murdered by police. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for it. But wait, there's more. There's more. Hate to tell you, there's more. This is out of USA Today. It says the two deputies involved later told investigators that they feared for their lives. And the district attorney's office determined their actions were justified. Fear for their lives. Oh my God, a pill. Mm-mm-mm. This is the point I want to show. The officers then falsely arrested Ward's mother and her boyfriend, seized their property, and interrogated them. So imagine you're in the car with your son and they kill him. They murder him just for putting an anti-anxiety pill in his mouth. They tell you to not get out of the car after they shoot your baby. And then after they shoot and kill your baby, then they falsely arrest you and your significant other and then interrogate you. Imagine what that family has been through. This is why we talk about police the way we do. This is why. And this happens all the time. It happens all the time in the Black community. Police will do the same thing to us. And then our background and information gets put through the ringer. And then people will justify our murder through some mistakes we may have made in the past, or seeming mistakes that we have made in the past. That is our criminal justice system. And now it's happening more and more to white people. And this is why we say defund the police. I'm going to show you guys something. Because you guys need to know and get the point. Here's a point I want to point out. "13th Amendment of the United States. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction." This exception here allows for slavery to still exist, right? I've talked about this many times. This is no surprise. Slavery still is legal in the United States. Yes. The thing that a lot of people need to recognize is that we are the canary in the coal mines. Black people are the canary in the coal mines. Because even if they were to subject all 13% of the US population who look like me into slavery, there's still about 65-70% of the population that still ain't subject to that slavery. And you don't think that they're not going to try to lock y'all up and change that chattel too? You don't think they will? The fulfillment of capitalism is slavery. You don't think they're not going to do that shit to you? Despite being 13% of the population, well over 40% of the prison population is Black. You don't think they're not trying to grow that prison population? Oh, they're not just going to come after us. They're coming after you too. This is why police and prison abolition is so important. Because they're going to subject you to chattel slavery as well. They're going to do it to you. That's how capitalism works. They're wearing down the workers so that they subject you to wage slavery. They subject you to not owning anything so that you become a nation of renters. Then once they do that, they start subjecting you to even less and less and less, to the point where they provide you with everything. You have to get permission for them for housing. You have to get permission for them for food, all that. And then you have to work when they absolutely tell you to work. Everything's under duress. It's already under duress now. It's going to intensify. And they're doing it to you too. And this is the point. This is why we need to dismantle this system. And they're using white supremacy, racism, transphobia, homophobia, xenophobia, misogyny. They're using all this in order to keep us divided so that we don't come together and dismantle this system. So they're chipping away and they're coming after us. They've been coming after us. They didn't really let us go. They're trying to come after roundabout ways to keep us enslaved. But they're going to also continuously grow and do it to you. And here's something that you guys need to realize. If prison is still chattel slavery that we see today, there are not just black slaves, but white slaves in these prisons right now, which means that some of you are already chattel within this system. Do you still subscribe to this system that we have? Because some white people are chattel right now, just like black people. Your property That's why this is important, to get rid of this system. Because they're doing it to us, and they're going to do it to you. And then you got people like Joe Biden that's like, we're not going to defund the police, we're going to fund the police. Guess what? That's to keep you in line. That's to keep us in line. And then they want to give them a Purple Heart. Murderer. And then they said that he attempted to grab the police officer's weapon, which you clearly saw it did not happen. So yeah, thanks to Imposter Edits for this. I'm going to share this thread in the chat so you guys can have access to it. And they share a bunch of articles on it. And this is why this is important. Now, I know Janice says screw, defund, abolish is where we need to be. And I agree. Defund is part of the abolition process. That's what we mean. So there's no disagreement among us. It's just defund is part of the process. Just like, you have a lot of people who talk about, they want communism. And the thing is that some are like, oh no, not socialism, communism. It's like socialism is part of the process. See what I mean? It's like saying we don't want batter, we just want the cake, but you need to get to the batter part in order to get to the cake. You know what I'm saying? So, we don't disagree. It's just it's part of the process. That's what we mean. Reality Revolution says that a bullet wouldn't endanger them. What do you mean? I'm not getting what you're saying. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically this story. And what is something that people can do? Well, of course, you guys all know that Nick is one of the co-founders for 10 for Justice, one of the co-authors of 10 for Justice, and this is very important about the carceral system. And I tell you guys about this all the time, but if in case you haven't, this website is a wonderful resource to educate people on the road to abolition, right? So it's 10 different demands. And if you go down the list of demands, says defund the police and reallocate resources, right? Demilitarize the police, eliminate discriminatory policing, prosecution, and sentencing. Did it freeze? Ah, jeez. I think it froze. Did it freeze on me? Damn it. All right. Exit. Fine. Damn. But the point still stands. So I'm going to put in. So that's the website. And it is good to learn this so that you know what steps are needed in order to change the system, to get rid of police as we know it, so that we can actually have a more safer public safety measure. Now, I see Rogers in the chat. And if you live in a ballot initiative state, you can try to push for things like this. Even within your cities, if you can, and try just to at least preserve the life of the people in your community. Because that's really what this is about preserving people alive so that they won't have to lose it to this occupying military force that we have in our country called the police. So and then on top of that, if you can join organizations that help people, I know there are organizations that also contribute to funds for people for bail, especially people who do strikes and people who do activism. You can do that as well. There's the Innocence Project. I know that they're trying to help people who are wrongfully convicted. So different things like that. But this is something that absolutely needs to change. And the only people that can actually take care of it is us. So I really hope that this family gets justice. The Ward family gets justice, because this shouldn't happen to any one of us. But I also want to give this note to people. When Black people talk about things like this, please make sure to pay more attention. Give us more than the usual attention to these things. Because if it happens to us, it's going to happen to you. So that's really what I want to convey. And I hope that they can get a lawsuit at least to get just a modicum of justice, but they won't. Real justice would mean that Richard Ward is still alive. That's true justice. And that it should have been, oh snap, you went into the wrong car by accident. Oh yeah, that happens to me. But just try to be careful next time and blah blah blah. Oh, what was that? Whoa. Oh, that was an anti-anxiety pill. Oh yeah, you said earlier that you suffer from anxiety. I get you. I get you. Well, we're not like the others. Just chill out here. We're gonna go to the person's car that you got into. We're gonna check things out, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. All right. Then leave. Go talk to the person. Oh, it's just a mistake that they mistakenly went inside your car. Did you see them trying to get into other people's cars? No. Okay, just yours. All right. We don't see a problem here. Just make sure to be careful which car you get into next time, and you have yourself a good day. Okay. All right. Boom. Off. This wouldn't have been a story. It was that easy. It would have been that easy, but it wasn't, because that's not how policing works in this country. So yeah. So that's the story. So let me go to the chat really quick. CEB Applejack said trying to raise funds to get them water. I think you're talking about East Palestine. Says I live 25 minutes away from East Palestine. Oh wow. Okay. Jaybe, I'll send you a Cash App first. But oh, thank you. You don't have to do that. I appreciate it, but you don't have to do things like that. I mean, people in East Palestine are dealing with a lot right now, and just thank you for doing that work, man. My thing is that people in East Palestine, whether you're East Palestine, whether you're in Jackson, Mississippi, whether you're in Flint, Michigan, whether you're in Pine Hills here in Orange County, Florida, whether you're in Appalachia, whether you're in different parts of Texas, Nevada, Newark, New Jersey, Camden, where I'm originally from, wherever you're from, there's a lot of people that are going through a lot. And anybody who does mutual aid and help out, they're showing love to their community. So thank you very much for the work that you do. Much respect. Much respect. All right. Snake Man Mark says taxpayers will end up paying for the lawsuit. Yeah, that's the horrible part. By the way, is that Eartha Kitt? Is that the late great Eartha Kitt in your avatar? Eartha Kitt is based. Mark says, here in Sweden, I doubt anyone would even call the police at all. Yeah, people are very reactionary. American ignorance says, in capitalism, everything else will follow. Thank you. I agree. A lot of things will follow. I mean, it still takes work, socially, to get past these things. But ending capitalism can be a huge boom. Randy Bray says, getting here an hour late, but I'm here. Have to play back to catch the beginning. Yeah. It's a lot. John Kipper says police criminalize everyone they approach. Absolutely. It's sad, but yeah. Justin Lips Watson says, I'm 12 miles away from East Palestine too. Water was brown for 2 hours yesterday. Oh my God. Remember when I said if they do it to black people, it's going to happen to white people? Look at Jackson, Mississippi, and Flint, Michigan. Look at them. Now look at East Palestine. East Palestine is a majority white city, majority white town. They're doing it to you guys. Look at Appalachia. They've been doing it to them for years, right? Look, don't just look at hoods. Look at white hoods too. Look at what they're doing to them. Look at the police. They're over-policing them too. It's been going on. CJ plays that video a lot, when it talks about Bobby Lee from the Black Panthers talking to white people, talk about what's happening in their neighborhoods. Yep. This is why defund the police is so important. This is why we need to get rid of, dismantle this system, because these corporatists, they will take over. They have our country by the choke, by a chokehold. And now who suffers? The poor and the working people suffer. This is what's going on, right? This is why it's important for us to have solidarity with one another and take down this system, because they're doing this to all of us. Raziel the Great says, if you're within 25 miles of East Palestine, I'd be checking my health of my water and air quality constantly. Yeah. Hell, I'd be nervous if I was still my family in Philly. My family's in West Philly. I'd be nervous as hell right now. CEB Applejack, please be careful. Please be careful out there. Jack says, it's a cutthroat capitalism. People use the police to enforce possession. Yep, definitely. GW says, ending capitalism. Marx never said anything about ending it, but rather it's a solution to a force of. It's sublation into a force of common good. I'm not that bright. Sublation, countable and uncountable. Let's see. A flotation method in which the material to be separated is absorbed into the surface of gas bubbles and a liquid, and is collected on a layer of immiscible liquid. Oh, sublate, to negate or eliminate, but preserve as partial element in a synthesis. So, ending capitalism, Mark never said anything about ending it, but rather it's sublation into a force of common good. But in Merriam-Webster, it says negate, deny. So if it's negating capitalism, that means it's kind of ending it, right? According to Merriam-Webster, I'll share my screen. I'm reading it right here. So I think, yeah, it's by what you say. It says negate, deny. To negate or eliminate something such as an element or in a dialectic process, but preserve as a partial element in a synthesis. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong about many things, but I'm just looking at the definition. But thank you very much for the comment. V.S. Adams, good to see you. Says, glad to hear your... Oh. All right. Pretty much every time Marx uses the word abolish, it's a mistranslation. It's the word sublation. It is the negation of the negation, the synthesis in the Hegelian dialectic. Yeah, I haven't read Marx enough in order to understand all that. So you're gonna have to dumb things down for me. I am sorry. I'm still new to Marxism. I am not a Marxist. That's why I don't call myself a Marxist, because I'm still trying to get into it and read it. But that's what I'm trying to do. But I appreciate you trying to explain it to me, but you know, but I appreciate you trying to explain it. TC Blondie says big corps don't even care about their customers. As long as they can hoard all the wealth, they will begin to turn on each other soon. All right. Now, so just to let you guys know, please like the stream. Please push us out into the algo, like Sabby likes to say. Also, for our fundraiser so that we can pay for our graphic designer, Aaron, if you guys go to Venmo at Revolutionary Blackout, Cash App is $ Mutual Aid Forever. Please make sure to do that. And have you subscribed yet? We are, working on RBN to 50K. So far, I think we're at 30. I think we're at like 30. Oh, yeah. Last time I checked, we were at 31,108. So we'll get that up. I'm trying to be more like CJ, man, because he's more thorough at these things. And CJ just does it better than me. So I wish he was here. But I'm trying to get into a better mood because I have a couple good news stories that I want to get into. And, it's kind of a small good news, but good news nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm trying to get into a more of a good mood. That was a very somber topic, but we gotta embrace some of the good things. And by the way, before we get completely out of this subject, I want to ask you all, what if our police force, what if we didn't have a police? What if the public safety apparatus that we had in this country, right? Let's say not hypothetically, let's say we actually achieve what we want in having a more equal, equitable, egalitarian society. Now, beings aren't perfect, so some things will still happen, right? No doubt it will. But it's drastically minimized, right? What if the people who are working to keep, the peace, so to speak. What if we actually, ran into them once in a while in their true public safety setting, and then we have a great relationship with them? And let's say just an accident happens, right? And they're there at the right place at the right time, and then citizens help out. What if? Like, wouldn't that be something to aspire towards, right? Wouldn't that be something lovely? If we had a true, you know, public safety measures. And never forget, housing, healthcare, good food, a healthy environment, good education, all those are also means to preserve and keep safe the public. Those are public safety too. That's also public safety. So the fact that we don't have that in this country means that our safety is not a priority. So let's start imagining a better world like that. Now, let's go to the next story. The next story. All right. Oh, good news story. Good water news. Let's make it moist in this place. Yeah. All right. Now, this is going to be a good news story that I saw this. I was like, oh, this is cool. All right. So, okay, hang on. Let me take some of these tabs down because boom, 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 boom. Go, go, Power Rangers! Okay, now, there's a website that you guys might want to look into once in a while. This will be good for your mental health. Okay, now this is from goodnewsnetwork.org. So this story is about India. And don't worry, stay with me. I'm gonna link it in just a second. But it says mega milestone. India connects 80 million rural households to water supply in just 4 years. Let's get it moist, people. Ha ha. All right. So, gosh, this tab on the side is just blocking my reading. Jeez Louise. Okay. It says India's Al Jeevan mission of tap water success continues to be one of the great unsung stories of human development. Almost 79 million households have been provided with access to tap water connection since the program's launch in August of 2019, bringing the total to 111 million, or 56% of rural households in the nation. Governance in India is a strange old dance between legislating on behalf of both economic areas similar to net worth to Western Europe and rural areas that are among the poorest in Asia. The Jal Jeevan mission hopes to connect every household in the country to public water systems by 2024. The initiative faced disruptions during the pandemic, but from a starting point of just 32.2 million rural households out of a registered 192 million, the program has seen remarkable success. That was the Union Minister of the merged Ministries of Sanitation and Drinking Water celebrating the accomplishment after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced the mega milestone. In 2018, before Jal Jeevan began, just 49.5% of the country had access to safely managed drinking water, lowering even than neighboring Bangladesh. The accomplishment becomes all the more remarkable when considering that during the course of Jal Jeevan, India surpassed China as the most populous nation on earth. So this is a very beautiful story that just shows the power of truly investing in infrastructure, right? Like, we could do so much. This is another, just talking about the same story. It talks about India provides 80 million rural households with tap water. So it says with 1.3 billion people and expected to increase to 1.7 billion by 2050, India is unable to provide safe, clean water to the vast majority of its population. A severe lack of regulation, excessive privatization, remember when we talk about that? General negligence and extensive government corruption have resulted in many generations thirsting for more than a few drops of hazard-free water. However, in the Jal Jeevan mission, which started in August of 2019, brought hope to the country. Since then, about 79 million homes have gained access to tap water connection, increasing the total to 111 million, or 56% of rural households in the country. By 2024, the mission aspires to have connected every family in the country to public water infrastructure. Despite disruptions during the epidemic, the program has achieved tremendous success, starting base of only 32.2 million rural households out of a record of 192 million. So that is some good news, is that more people will have access in their homes to clean drinking water. And this got me thinking about how we can start to keep hope in our minds when it comes to things like this. That think about, and I always think about like public transportation. Just imagine high-speed rail and mass public transit free at the point of service. Meaning, if you want to go, let's say I want to go visit my family in Philly, right? I'm in Orlando, Florida. I want to visit my family in Philly. By plane, it takes 2 hours. By train, I think it takes between 18 to 24 hours. By train, right? So if a plane is going about 500 miles an hour in the air and it takes about 2 hours, right? If you had high-speed rail, and high-speed rail goes around 200 miles an hour, how about getting from Orlando to Philly in 6 hours? 6 hours, right? That means stops along the way, right? That means, it's around 200 miles an hour, give or take. High-speed rail goes around that, right? Going up the coast, 6 hours. If you can jump on a high-speed rail, free at the point of service, and let's say you guys are let's say you're in Maryland, and you want to take a trip to Miami Beach. You guys want to go South Beach, and you guys take a 6 hour. Would you take a 6 hour train ride? Especially if you didn't have to pay out of pocket. How would that fare for you? Would you do that? Wouldn't that be cool? Right? Free at the point of service. You jump on a train, 6 hours, That's just, look, you guys can watch 3 good movies in that time. You guys can watch like a marathon of just like 3 movies. Boom, boom, boom. And then next thing you know, you guys can watch like Superman 1, Superman 2, and Superman 3, and then by that time, you're almost there with the Christopher Reeve Supermans. And then boom, and you guys brought, your floaties, you got your towels, you got your stuff, you got your cooler, you're ready to go. and you guys wind up, boom. All you guys got to do is jump on the regular public transit, free at the point of service, get from the train station to right near the beach. Boom. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be lovely? Right? So you guys won't have to worry about that. What if you're in, let's say where Nick is, and in Missouri. Let's say he wants to go to Chicago. You know, he just wants to go to Chicago and chill, right? It's just a couple of hours high-speed train, right? Free at the point of service. Boom, there. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, where would you go? Like, what would you do? Like, people, put in the chat, or if you're watching this on the rewatch, put in the comments, where would you go if we had high-speed rail and mass public transit free at the point of service? What would you do? Like, what could you go? You know? I just would like to know, because I think that's be so awesome. Like, okay, like one of the things what I would do, I take a trip to Texas, right? I take a trip to Texas, or I would take a trip. I would visit my peeps out in California. You don't think me and CJ wouldn't be out there at Long Beach chilling? Listen to the Humpty Dance. Now stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you used to. Oh, we be doing that. We be like this, just bobbing our heads to the beat. You know what I'm saying? That'd be something great, right? Just think about the possibilities, right? About what could be, man. Isn't it exciting when you start to think about the future that we could have once we push for the things that we actually would like? God, it would be amazing. You know? I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to get us to have that good feeling of what could be, That's something that Oh, wait. Rick Soley says, visit Chicago and New York and see my family. Yeah, man. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh, I'm just a few hours away. Let me just jump on the train. Like, oh, what about work? You can literally we can still have public transit that gets out into rural areas. You can still live the rural life if that's what you down for. Cool. And then, let's say, there's, because it's free at the point of service and it's paid for through our taxation, and we allocate it as a society and then have the funds for that, so that, let's say you live out in a rural area and mass public transit, it comes out once every hour. And let's say you want to get from there, and let's say you live in rural Wyoming, right? But you want to visit family in Nevada. Let's say you want to do that. Then you can actually be like, oh yeah, I'll be down there in a couple of hours. Then you take that public transit to a high-speed rail hub. Boom. Few hours. 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100. Then you're there. And then you're seeing your family. And you don't even have to stay, a whole week. You can come 2, 3 times a month. And you can be more regular and see your fam or see your friends. How many of y'all would be down with me just coming by and visiting y'all, having some tea just to chill and talk? And then it'd be like, all right, I'm going to jump on the train. I'll sleep, on the way back. Because I gotta be at work in the morning. How cool would that be, man? You know what I'm saying? Spruce said, I came to bring tasty treats. I think that'd be great. CEB says, but Jaybe, that's socialism. We all know socialism is evil. Oh, man. Little says, how we protect our trains from these tiny little invisible space balloons. Balloons are fun, man. I just don't like when they pop. But balloons are fun. Gamer says, I would travel more for sure. Yeah. I think humans have the freedom of movement. I think that's something that we should have. And I think that would be great. Like, Gamer, I would totally come and look, why should I have to get on a game console network to play games with you? I'm going to come over to your house and sit right next to you, and we both have our controllers, and we're going to game. Why not? Right? You may kick my ass, and that's okay. But you get to brag sitting right next to me instead of bragging online. I think that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, the Jam Mom is right. We can build it. We have the technology. I think this is something that we should do. Like, just think about it. Rapid transit gentrifies every neighborhood it touches. In capitalism, I'm not talking about in capitalism. I'm talking about changing and dismantling the system. I'm not talking about within a capitalist structure. That's not going to happen. It's never going to happen that way. But if we can have a structure that's more worker-centric, that's a different economic system that actually has us band together to appropriate funds instead of that surplus going to the top, that surplus from our labor that we designate, through a democratic process, actually goes and say, okay, we want this money to actually, instead of going to the top, because it's not really going to go to the top, it's actually going to go to the things that we designate through central planning. And let's say we actually have a more high-speed mass public transit that's free at the point of service. Then yeah, some of that money, some of those funds are actually going to go towards these things that we actually want collectively as a society. I think that'd be really, really great. Wadi says it would be as life-changing as how the car or the train changed things up in the turn of the 19th and 20th centuries. It's hard to wrap your head around it, though. Not going to lie. True. But guess what? It's still possible, right? Like years ago, we couldn't imagine having a device like this and being able to talk to other people on the other side of the world in real time. Now we can, right? All because we put satellites around the world and now we can position it. And now guess what? We can do that. So it may be a little bit harder to think about, to conceive in our minds, but we can still do it. Damn it, we're humans. We can adapt, we can evolve, we can do these things. I think it can be done. And it's a lovely thought. Outside Steelers fan says, a lot of people look at that form of transit in a status way. Yes. And that's because it's our culture within this system, right? But if we get to a point where we don't see it as that anymore, if we can change the culture, because the economic system can change the culture, it can be a contributing factor to changing the culture, I should say, then it will be so much better, right? Or even, we don't even have to go with transit. We can go to, what if you actually had healthcare universally free at the point of service and it was nationalized? What would you do? Like me personally, number one, I would actually, go and see my primary care more often and make sure to get my physical. And I would go see, and I would also have a primary care psychiatrist. And I would see them at least twice a year. Imagine everybody having a primary care psychiatrist and being able to see them just to check and see how we're doing mentally. Imagine, right? Imagine if you didn't have to worry about housing, healthcare, food, or education. Imagine if those things weren't an issue. Imagine. Then you can focus on other things. I'm not saying you're never going to have depression. I'm not saying you're never going to have different mental ailments. It's still going to happen because humans aren't perfect. But the likelihood of them happening goes down because it's not exacerbated by this system. So I think that'd be kind of cool, right? So then you can be in a more better mood, and you could be depressed about something. You may have lost a loved one, or tragedy does still happen. You know, accidents still happen. You don't think that we're not, you know, and then you may be able to be like, oh man, this accident happened, you know, a few months ago. It's still hurting me. But then you can get treatment for that. And the treatment is based on not for profit, but just making sure the person gets the most help that they can get so that they can be the healthiest. See? JB, business trips will be easy too, not even on a personal level. Yeah. Pete is ruining the mood. That's hilarious. CB, gotta get some rest before work. Oh, okay. Take care, man. Good to see you. And so yeah, there's just some of the things. But I also have another good story that I want to share. I saw this on Twitter, and I told this person, I'm like, look, I'm gonna share this too, because this is some good news, right? And let's share. Share the good news. Don't you know no good? Don't you know no good? All right. So SLC Socialist shared this. This is pretty cool. It says, I've never heard of the word afforestation. It's the opposite of deforestation. Afforestation is basically increasing the size of forests. Afforestation in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, aka North Korea. Where are the people doing this in the rest of the world? I see it in China and now in the DPRK. President Biden, are we replenishing our forests? They are literally increasing the size of the forests in the DPRK. Isn't this so cool? Like, I want to see this. Imagine in your mind's eye, real quick. Like, let me enlarge. Let me see. Imagine in your mind's eye, our Army Corps of Engineers, our soldiers in our military, right? With shovels, with heavy machinery, operating heavy machinery, the big, excavators, boring holes and planting trees all over the United States. Just imagine, right? And then you have people who are in the Army Reserves going, "Oh man, I'm enlisted. Oh, we're doing another afforestation in this part of the country." And then they're like, "All right, gotta go. I gotta plant some more trees." All right, cool. And then when we see people in uniform, in military uniforms, we thank them for their service because they're doing afforestation in our country. Wouldn't that be, wouldn't that be cool? That'd be so awesome, right? Because our war would be a war against climate change. That would be the war that we're fighting. And that would be the only war worth fighting right now, right? So you get them going to places like the Everglades and planting more, more native plants in that area in order to improve places like the Everglades, or places like the flatlands, the prairies, in the middle of the United States, in the Midwest. I mean, there was some people, and I'm not exactly sure who told me this, but they said there used to be so many trees, especially in places like Florida, that you could not get into a space where there was no trees from one side of the coast of Florida to the other. There was that many trees in Florida. It was so many trees. Florida was actually a Spanish word for flowery because there was so much foliage in the state. And just imagine how much more we can do with our military if we were, instead of utilizing them for propping up corporations and extracting resources, what if we use them to insert resources into our country by planting seedlings and planting trees and planting, all over our country? What if we use the Army Corps of Engineers to help build more ecological housing within our country? What if we did that? Hell, in Africa, people would downplay mud huts, but those are actually more economically and ecologically more feasible. What if we did it instead of by hand? We actually had 3D printers that use the mud that is used in mud huts in order to help build new housing so that they look modern, right? But they're built by the same materials that they use in African villages and in African people over there, so that it actually has a negative environmental impact. Not a negative environmental impact, but it affects us in a positive way, and it absorbs the CO2 and things like that. Like I'm just thinking about stuff like that, right? Joe Joshua says China is devoting a large part of their military to planting trees. Exactly. Imagine kids being recruited into the military in our schools to just plant trees. Just imagine that. I mean, crazy. Raytheon would change his name to Raytreon. Well, number one, it would change his name to Raytreon. Number two, it would be, worker operated and worker owned. In fact, hell, Raytheon wouldn't even exist because we wouldn't need military contractors. We wouldn't need any of them because it would just all be done by our government. They wouldn't even exist. So the Indians had to burn out clearings so that everyone could eat. Not enough sunlight and grass for deer without help. System used to work. Beware of ambitious people. Yeah, but some of those engineers would have to be people who are indigenous that knew of their methods in order to create these systems so that we have a proper balance. And so couldn't we just, get some of the elders of the indigenous communities in order to consult and see how they did it? So we can do that same thing too. So we can live off the land just like the indigenous people did. I think that would be great. And get our lessons from them and implement it into our government policies. Wouldn't that be great? I want to borrow JB's rose-colored glasses. I'm sorry, but that's a little bit negative. And the thing is that we talk about the issues so much, and we talk about the problems so much. I'm trying to instill some hope right now into what could be, so that it fuels us into fighting against the system. That's what I'm doing. I'm sorry that you feel that I'm looking at this through rose-colored glasses. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to excite people into having an outlook for the future. Not just what's wrong, but what could we do to make it right so that we can have this type of future. I think that's important. I think it's really important for us to focus on the positive aspects. That's why I'm sharing stories like this. And how many people are sharing stories like this? How many? Because we have to aspire to something. Many times we have talked about people are voting against something, like during the whole 2020 campaign. Oh, they're voting against something, not for something. Well, what are we fighting? We know what we're fighting against, but what are we fighting for? I'm trying to show this is something that we can fight for. So I don't think it's rose-colored glasses. And I think that's unfair. I do. I think that what we can do is truly push for something that is aspirational, while still, because we can walk and chew gum at the same time, right? You watch us at RBN. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. And couldn't it be that we can also condemn the system, direct our attention to ways to change the system, but also, kind of dream a little bit, Can we dream? And then can we work to fulfill that dream? Because look, Dr. King did it, right? Everybody talks about I have a dream speech. We can still work towards that, right? Can't we do the same? And we can do that together. Because I know there's some hopes and dreams that you want to have that, that you see that you're working towards. And I want that for you. And I think that's the thing, it's like we want, like, bro, I want to have a future where we can vacation in Yemen. I want to be able to jump on a ship and go and vacation in Palestine, in Gaza, and chill out with the people there. I want to be able to do that without having to worry about them suffering. In fact, they're having a festival in Gaza, and then I can go there and I can, chill out with the people there. Or I can go to the Solomon Islands, and chill out with my peeps over there. And that's the thing that I'm trying to do here. I know, people are like, oh, this will never happen. But the thing is that it could. We just got to dream bigger. I just don't think we dream big enough. And I hope that we do. And that's one of the reasons why for the second part of the stream, for this segment, So I hope that we can come to a consensus, on being able to do that. That's all. And by no means I'm not trying to pick on you or anything like that. I just want that for us. Mouse Day said, "This is JB's I have a stream moment." Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Hey, Indy, subscribe to Indy Left. Good to see you, Indy. Make sure subscribe. But yeah, and I'm not going to spend too much more time. But yeah, I think there are things that we can, work towards. You know why? Because all of y'all are worthy of it. You're worthy of having these things. You're worthy of having a future where you don't have to, like, housing insecurity won't even come to mind. Food insecurity will not even be a possibility. All water, unless it's flushed down the toilet, is clean. Unless it goes down the drain, is clean water. You know, what about, having projects where we actually aspire towards, oh man, we're doing a more afforestation in these different areas, you know? I just think that's something that we can work towards. And I think it's good to talk about these things, to think about them. Because you are worthy of it. You're worthy of having complete health care. You're worthy of having peace whenever you walk out on the street, no matter who you are. Unless you're some greedy person, then we need to re-educate you. Because like that greed just that can foster some ugly things. But yeah. I agree. Long-term plan, but ending borders would be nice. I agree. That would be pretty cool. You know. Let me. Oh. I'm glad I checked. Let's go to Rockfin. The Rock is on fire. Okay. Let me see. Also, let me enlarge this and let's go. Let's go. All right. Okay. Rory O'Neill, happy Sunday, JB. Thank you, Rory. Good to see you in the Rock. Drew Tech says, I told other white people that white people aren't safe from police brutality. Obviously, it's a lot worse for blacks, but still. Thank you. I appreciate that. Roger Meadows says, MosesWestFoundation.org. Donate now to get those automatic water generators into Ohio and keep it coming in Flint and Jackson. Please put in chat. Okay. All right. So this guy actually has a device. Yeah. Atmospheric water generation technology. And they're using it in order to produce clean drinking water. Here you go. Wait. No, that's not what I wanted. Wait. What? Hang on. What in the world? Hang on. That's weird. It keeps saying Twitter. Oh, okay. All right. This thing was doing some weird stuff in the stream. Anyway. All right. There's the link. All right. So they are, let me share my screen really quick too, because I've seen this guy on the news too, and he created a device that actually takes water out of the air and turns it into clean drinking water. Yeah, that's the guy. And so, atmospheric water generation technology. I hope these people don't come after him. And by people, I'm talking about the powers that be, because they will really try to screw this guy over. But this guy helps create the Moses West Foundation. Yeah. So, This is cool. Just imagine if we as a society can fund what he's doing. Oh my God. If we can collectively fund this technology and increase it, oh, this would be amazing. But yeah, so that, he can get water out there to Palestine, Ohio, as well as to Jackson, Mississippi, Flint, Michigan, and many other places that we need this technology. I think this is beautiful. I think Sabby talked about it. By the way, Sabby will be live at 4. So I'll be, I'll be turning in a little bit. But I just wanted to share this because Roger shared this in the chat. And thank you, Roger, for this. Roger be coming in with the receipts, man. He be coming in just like a cat, like inconspicuous, and then leaving some good stuff at my door. Like, what? Anyway, so thanks to that. Now let's go back to the chat as well. Thank you for that, Roger. Also, Kay, thank you so much for the tip on Rockfin, Kay. Okay. Indies in the chat says everyone who doesn't have a YouTube Premium, sign up for Rockfin free, no ads. Yeah, Rockfin is great because Rockfin doesn't do ads. So thank you so very much for that. If you take water out of the air, won't they cause droughts somewhere? I don't know. I mean, water that's in the air, like we have a crap ton of water in the air here in Florida. We have so much humidity, but I think, we can do some other stuff too, I think CJ wants to stream soon as well. Oh, I didn't know he was going to be streaming today. But I'll be turning up really soon. But yeah. So let me get going because I got to get out of here anyway. But I don't know. We got to talk to some engineers about that. But I'm sure there's some scientists that can, answer that better than I can. But at the same time, there's some technology. We're always expanding our technology and our technological know-how. Also, make sure as well to go so we can pay for our graphics designer, Aaron. Thank you so very much to Aaron for this beautiful graphic. I love this thing. This is so lovely, especially with the kitties. Go to either Venmo at Revolutionary Blackout or Cash App Mutual Aid Forever. Also, if you guys would like to, you guys can also get email updates and join our mailing list. Go to our Substack. It is scrolling at the bottom below. So you guys can get into that too. All right. And Reality Revolution said it. Motivation requires aspirations. We're talking about stuff to aspire to. Thank you so much, Reality Revolution. And yes, by the way, I would take a trip out to California to see you. Yeah. We out here. Anyway, so JB's been talking too long. JB got to go. JB is hungry. I got to make dinner. And plus, I got to see what CJ and what Sabby's going to be talking about today. Plus, we got a meeting a little bit later. So, anyway, so thank you so much. Water your plants. Water yourselves. Or leave the world better than you found it. And aspire. Dream. Because guess what? If we dream, we can try to achieve those dreams. Mwah. Forehead kisses to every single one of you. I love you. Butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Just take a. Oh, wait a minute. Don't forget. I'll be reading her on my channel. Don't forget. Go to my channel if you guys want to hear some reading from Asada Shakur's book. End scene. Bye. Boop, 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 boop. Green Acres is the place for me. Farm living is the life for me. That's fun.